Transfer. How do you go about it? The law prescribes that if any agreement that has to do with the sale of property must be in writing, and it must be signed by both parties for it to have any legal effect. So you can't do as you do with when you go to buy bread, you take out the money over the counter, you get the bread, not with the land. You must have an agreement in writing, and it must be signed by the person who sells, and it must be signed by you. This is one of the areas where problems arise. When people are facing some difficulties, sometimes they say, I will sell you my property, give you the money for the 1 system, agree on that, and then people go to the police station, they do some affidavits, and they think all is well. All is not well, because in terms of the law, that is not how you sell and buy the property. It has to be in writing, it has to be signed by both parties. And then I also just want to touch briefly, seeing that there was a colleague of ours who was going to speak on wills and estates, who is not here. That's also part of what I do, which is kind of related to the property, in that invariably one of the most valuable assets again is property. Now it is important to know that when you are alive, you do what you want to do with your property, with your possessions. And now when you pass on, there is a vacuum. There is no one who has any authority to do those things that you have done with your property. Your family then has to go to a place in 45 Castle Street called the Master's Office. That is where all the debts must be reported, so that the master is able to authorize a person, will authorize a person to make sure that if there is a will, the property, the assets are distributed in accordance with the will of the person passed on. And that if there was no will, then the law that determines who should get what when someone passes on is complied with. So you must bear that in mind, that there is a place in town. You are also welcome to go there. You don't get charged. But if the value of the estate exceeds a certain amount, you are advised then to get the assistance of an attorney, because there are some formalities which have to be complied with. Also, just one thing on the properties, it does happen sometimes that you feel that you are getting old, you have a son or a daughter who is responsible enough, you trust him that he will look after you until you pass on. You want to give him this property so that he owns it, but whilst you are still alive, but you want to also have the right to live in that property until you die. It's something that happens most of the time. Unfortunately, down the line, disagreements will happen, and the parent, who was the initial owner of the property, ends up having to be chucked out by his or her son. Now, you can protect yourself. You can still do that and retain protection. Because if you pass the ownership of this property to your child, you can, then in that way, he cannot sell the property without you signing the property, because that is one problem. Because when we are faced with our own challenges, we look at the property, we see that we can extract money from there. But if we have that condition, you are secure. It can only be sold with you signing that thing. I thank you.
Mr. Mali is not a friend of Barbara. And I think we can all be very, very happy with that. As my learned colleague right at the end has addressed the issue of property, I'd like very quickly about evictions. Recently in my practice, I've come across situations where people's properties or people have been evicted from their properties where they've put their properties for sale through default judgments. Now, the reason why I want to touch on this is because we all know that one cannot be evicted from a property unlawfully. We have a right in law which we can protect. Now, I'm going to try and be as very simple in English with you as possible, where we have a right to our property and a right to what we invested in our property. That is the crux of the Constitution, Section 26(3) of the Constitution, that you cannot be unlawfully evicted from your property. Now, what I've recently come across in my practice particularly is where people have bought a home, like an RDP house, where it's a state-subsidized house, they paid maybe 8,000 rand for it, they've then gone to the bank and taken out a loan, and once they've taken out a loan, they put their property up as security for this loan. And what happens afterwards, the bank comes and they take that property from you. Now, then they issue an eviction order, and then they take out the property. In the meantime, they sell this property to a third party. Now, this is where we come in. And you need to understand your rights very carefully, that there has been excessive landmark judgments. When I say judgments now, I speak of precedents in court, where there have been cases before court where it says that you cannot be evicted from your property unlawfully. There have been judgments in courts where we speak about the Van Rooyen matter. I don't know if my colleagues are already aware of this. The Jafta matter where a lady had put up her RDP home for sale, and where the court, an attorney actually had her evicted from her property for a default judgment where she owed, I think, probably about 200 rand, and they took her home from her. Now, what the courts have come around and said is that cannot happen in this day and age. You have a right to your property, you have a right to your land. They tell me I can only speak for another 2 minutes. So the Groot issue is where your rights have been assessed in the constitutional courts, where you have a right to that property, you cannot be evicted from that property unlawfully. The other issue is that we've had a very great landmark judgment called the Gudwana judgment before the courts, where it says that you can only be evicted from your property with a high court order. So until you have a high court order in place, can you be put out of your property. We have legislation in place like the National Credit Act, where if you feel or you find that you are in a position where you cannot pay your debts, you need to take advantage of the National Credit Act, which says you go and you seek assistance from debt recovery agencies and consultants who can place the matter before court and see that your debt is restructured so that you can pay off your installments the way you want. That does not mean somebody can come and take over your property unlawfully and evict you from that property. And I think that's just about all I wanted to say, because they might be
on the start a bit about what happens when people die, and what happens when the heirs or the people that remain behind which take care of your affairs. Now, as correctly said, in our law, when you are alive, you do what you want with your property, or what you own, in your house, your car, whatever the case may be. When you die, somebody needs to step into your shoes. In our law, there's two ways that somebody can step into your shoes. Firstly, if you have a will, your will then says this, who gets what. I'm not going to go into that rules in detail, but basically to say your children and your husband or wife. But those are if there's no will. If you want to determine who gets what you own, you conclude a will. And there's certain formalities to will. I won't go into that again. My time is very short. Just to say, look out in the next few months. There will be a Wills Week, which is organized by Law Society South Africa, all the attorneys across the country, where you can see an attorney for free and you can make a will. But to speak further, I need to speak about what happens after your death. After your death, as this indicated, your estate is reported what you own, your debt is reported to the master in Castle Street. So they go, your family members go and say this person has passed away, and now the master takes over. The master now, and there's a lot of stories going on in the community. The master's an other son. No, the master's there to oversee what happens after your death, because you are no longer there to do that. So the master then appoints an executor somebody to take ownership of what you have for a short period until what you have is then given to who right belongs to, what is said in the will. So this person is now appointed. This person is a representative of the estate. Now the main responsibility is to find out what is the debt that is owing. Who do you owe money to? Firstly. And secondly, to make an inventory, a list of what you own. And then to take over that. Because what must happen is, the debts must first be paid. Those that you owe money to Edgar's, who was the municipality. And then, what you own, what is left over, is given to the people that you state in your will, or who the law dictates in terms of that set of rules. So they take possession, take ownership of what you have, the money in the bank, the car, the house. Might not physically take possession, but they need to know what's going on there, and then if necessary, sells off assets, get cash, and then pay the debts. So that's the main thing of the executive. To take ownership, to take control. You in control when you are alive. Now someone else must take control for a short period of time, and then give it to whoever needs to get it in terms of the law. Now, there are many issues where people have an executive saying, listen, they haven't given me this, they haven't given me that. You are entitled to go to the master's office. You have the ID number, the date of death of the person that has died. You can get details as to who the executive is, what is happening in the estate. Because the master is the person who oversees the entire process to make sure that things happen fairly. You might feel that things are not happening fairly. You are in the house, and now they want to evict you from the house. It was your mother's house. Go to the master to find out, because they will provide you with correct information. Also, with all of these things, and I was just thinking, while the advocate was speaking about evictions, so much happens in terms of evictions that people enter into agreements and take loans out, and people are evicted. Please, people, inform yourselves. Don't just sign anything. I'm from Legal Aid South Africa. We get it in our offices. Go inform yourselves. Go to the offices. There will be things available later, and we'll also be available for questions as to where you can go to for the help.